Dear students, welcome to INSIGHT Academy GS Super Platinum Foundation course. This is the first class of History NCERTs. In this course of History NCERT, we will cover NCERT books of class 11th and class 12th. So main focus of our classes here will be on 11th and 12th class old NCERTs, though we will cover the main concepts of 6th to 10th class NCERTs also. As I just told you, these classes will focus primarily on old NCERTs because old NCERTs have much better content when we compare with the new NCERT books which are in use nowadays. New NCERT books also have some of the positives, some important points, some pictures are given there, so you should refer to new NCERTs also at least once. But the old NCERTs you have to read 3 to 4 times. In these classes of History NCERT based foundation course, we will be taking classes chapter by chapter. Let's say this class is a class number 1 and this class deals with Ancient India. Ancient India NCERT is in class 11th. It means this class 1 is going to take up some of the chapters of 11th class History NCERT old version. So first I will introduce you to the concept here, how will we go ahead with this class and with other classes of History NCERT. So let me start with the introduction. In this History NCERT based foundation course, we will be covering important concepts, important facts from NCERT level, primarily class 11th and 12th, but important points have been picked up from class 6th to 10th also. This foundation course of NCERTs is going to cover specific chapters in each class. For example, in Indian history we have 3 NCERTs. NCERT of Ancient India, that is class 11th. NCERT of Medieval India, that is class 11th again. These 2 books are from class 11. NCERT of Modern India and NCERT of World History. This Modern India and World History, these 2 NCERTs are from class 12th. Authors of NCERTs also you have to keep in mind. Ancient India NCERT is of R.S. Sharma. So in all NCERTs also there are different versions, so you have to see or pick up the NCERT written by R.S. Sharma. This Medieval India NCERT should be written by Satish Chandra. So you have to pick up only this particular NCERT. Modern India NCERT of Bipan Chandra, B-I-P-A-N, Bipan Chandra, and World History NCERT of Arjun Dev. So these 4 books you should have with you. I hope you have received the link for ebooks from Institute. All these 4 books have been shared with you in ebook format. Hard copies of old books are difficult to find. So if you are not comfortable with ebooks, you can take a printout of those ebooks. And if you can find somewhere the old versions of these books or the physical form of these books, you should try to fetch them. Now the class plan here has been devised in such a way that we will focus for 5 days or 5 classes here. 4 days or 4 classes for Medieval India. 6 days or 6 classes for Modern India. And 3 days or 3 classes for this world history. Let me tell you the logic behind this division of time period. In prelims as well as in main exam, most of the questions are asked from modern India. So modern India is very, very important for pre as well as for mains. World history comes only for the main exam, so it's not required to be read in detail. You don't need facts, you don't need very, very deep concepts. So world history is required only for the mains. That is why half number of classes when we compare with modern India have been allotted to world history. So 6 plus 3, 9 for modern India as well as world history combined together. From these two areas, or among the, between these two areas, ancient India is more important, because ancient India in pre as well as in main it comes in the form of arts and culture. Pre, we have questions from arts and culture as well as the political history. The questions from medieval India are relatively less in pre as well as in main exam. So that is why 4 classes have been allotted here. And out of these 4 classes also will be, suppose allotment would be in terms of North India as well as South India. So you can see 3 classes will be for North India and 1 class will be for South India for different kingdoms and empires. So this is the outline of the course which you will come across, which you will enjoy here for the next, say 5 plus 4, 9 plus 6, 15 plus 3, 18 days. So 18 classes are going to be for history, NCERT, foundation classes. Let us see today's class. So every class will start with chapters covered in the class. Today's class covers 6 chapters. These 6 chapters are the importance of ancient Indian history. Why do we study it? This is chapter number 1 in NCERT 11th class. Chapter number 2 is modern historians of ancient India. Chapter number 3, types of sources and historical construction. Chapter number 4, geographical setting. Chapter number 5, the Stone Age, early man. And chapter number 6 is dealing with Chalcolithic farming cultures. So from all these 6 chapters, I have picked up important concepts, and these important concepts will be explained in detail in today's class. Let us start with concept number 1. The first concept that is discussed in chapter number 1 is name of our country. So some details are given in chapter 1, some of the details are given in some of the chapters, but within these same 6 chapters, within this 11th class NCERT. So what is the name of our country? I know you are aware of that. India is one way of calling our country. It's one name. Hind or Hindustan is another name. Third name is Bharat. Bharata. So India is known by 3 different names: India, Hindustan, and Bharat. So how did our country get this name of India? These first 2 names have been drawn from the name of river Indus. Or in Hindi, the name of this river is Sindhu. So Sindhu river, Indus river originates in Himalayas, passes through parts of India, Jammu Kashmir, Ladakh, and then moves into Pakistan of today. So Indus river is a root word, or Indus river was used, or the knowledge of Indus river was used by foreigners to call our country or to give a name to our country. The Greeks used to call this river as Indu. So in Greek language, S was silent. So Sindhu had no S, so it became Indu. And from Indu river, the name of the land became India. So the people living in the region of river Indus or Sindhu were called as Indians. The land was called as India by Greeks. So who gave our country name India? Our country was named India by Greeks, or the Greeks gave India as the name to our country. So this is how you have to understand basic concepts and in detail. The second term here comes out to be Hindustan. The Arabs, the Persians means Iranians. Persia is the old name of today's Iran. So Persia is the name of a country. Persia is the name of a land. Arab is the name of a cultural group. Those people who used Arabic language were known as Arabs. There are Arabs today also. Like, look at the African map. The North Africa starts from Egypt, Libya. Then you have Morocco. These are Arab countries or inhabited by Arabs. Middle East countries like Jordan, Lebanon, Palestine, these are also inhabited by Arabs. So Arabs used to come to India for trade and commerce. Persians also used to come to India for trade commerce. So in Arabic and Persian language, S is pronounced, or S that time was pronounced as H. So Sindhu became Hindu. The land, the name of the area became Hind or Hindustan. The people became Hindu, Hindu, and the land became Hind. So again, Hind, Hindu, Hindustan, all these three words have been drawn from the name of river Indus, because in Arabic and Persian languages, S is pronounced as H. So who gave the name Hind or Hindustan to our country? Arabs and Greeks. What about the name Bharat? The name Bharat comes from the name of Bharata tribe. There was a tribe in Vedic times. The name of this tribe or this group was Bharata, and the land of this tribe came to be known as Bharatvarsh. Varsh means land here, Bharatvarsh. So we call our country as Bharat or Bharatvarsh, the land of Bharatas. So these are the three names of our country, and this is how our country got these three different names from three different groups of people. So hereafter, if you are asked by somebody, why do we call our country as India or Hind or Hindustan or Bharat, then you should be in a position to explain in a very proper way. Greeks famous for the architecture. So these kind of buildings were constructed by Greeks on a very large scale. They were very, very active in field of art and culture. Greeks means people of Greece of today. So this is the map of today's world. Greece, Athens, this is again part of Greece here. And when you come across any word here in the class, or you read any word in newspaper, try to understand the geographical location, in which part of the world that particular country is located. So you can see here, this is Europe. We see Eastern Europe or Balkan Peninsula. Then this side you'll find Italy. This is Italy. And this is Turkey here. This one is Black Sea. So try to connect the knowledge of geography, because this knowledge of geography will also be very, very important for your civil services examination. So Greek, living in Greece, or this how the terms are written here, Greece is the name of country, Greek people of this land. These Greeks were part of Roman Empire. So Roman Empire was covering almost whole of Europe at one time in ancient age. And these Greco-Roman people, we say the Greeks were part of Roman Empire. Roman Empire, we say Rome was the capital of this empire. So this was known as Roman Empire. So they used to come to India and they called our country as India. Language, the second concept of today's class, language and script used in India in ancient times. So what is language? Language is what we speak. And what is a script? A script is what we write. So what we write, that is a script. What we speak, that's language. So language has both components, spoken as well as written component. The written component is a script. For example, if you see here, if I write one example here, today, class will have a test. This is one way of writing. Second way, you can write it in today, class will have a test. Now try to see what's language and what is the script. Here the language is English, the script is English or the Roman. Here the language is English, but the script is Devanagari. Or you can see Indian script. This script is Devanagari. So if somebody is from Hindi belt, somebody speaks Hindi, somebody reads Hindi, now that person can read it. He may or may not understand the meaning of it, but he or she can always read it. Somebody who knows English can always read it. Person may or may not understand the meaning of the sentence here. So this is what we say language and script. Here language is English, script is Devanagari, English language, Roman script. Take another example. आज कक्षा में परीक्षा होगी. Hindi language, Devanagari script. आज कक्षा में परीक्षा होगी. So again you can write Hindi in English script. You can write English in Hindi script. So that's the way you can understand what is language and what is script. Language is the spoken part, script is the written part. Look at here. Bhasha, Hindi language, Devanagari script. Sanskritam, Sanskrit language, Devanagari script. And you have other here, Kannada, Marathi, Gujarati. This is the script of Harappan people or the people of Harappan civilization used to write like that. They were using symbols. So script with symbols is known as pictographic script. So The script of Harappan people was pictographic. Pictographic means a script that uses different pictures or symbols. This Harappan script is yet to be deciphered. Nobody could read it properly so far. So we do not know what was written, but we know these are pictures or symbols used in a script as letter. Next concept related to the same, we move lingua franca of our country. What was the language of masses? So lingua franca means language of common people. What was the language of common people in India in ancient times? Harappan times, we do not know what was the language. We certainly know a script was a pictographic script. We could not read it so far. Vedic times, in Vedic age, language was Sanskrit. In Vedic times, a script was not known to people. So Vedic Aryans were not aware of a script. They did not know how to write. They spoke Sanskrit language. Then in 6th century BC, a script was developed by Aryans, and this script was Devanagari script. At the same time, there was another script, Brahmi script. So a couple of new scripts came up here. Devanagari script that was used by Aryans, Brahmi script that was used by the non-Aryans or the people of interiors in ancient times. Then other languages emerged over the period of time. One language was Pali. Second language was Prakrit. Pali and Prakrit were the languages of common people, and out of these two languages, Prakrit was more popular. So most popular language in India in ancient times, particularly in the age of Mauryans or in post-Vedic times, the age that followed Vedic age, was Prakrit. So Prakrit was language, and at that time the most prominent, most popular script was Brahmi script. In Ashokan inscriptions, the inscriptions issued by Ashoka, inscription means something that is cut into a surface. Look at here. These letters are cut into the surface, so these are like inscriptions. So these are part of Harappan civilization, so Harappan inscriptions. And something that I have written here, I have not cut into the surface. This is written with, say, ink. This is a digital ink, but you can write with a chalk also. You can write on your copy with a pen, so that is not cut into, that is written. Something that you inscribe, that is known as inscription, and something that you write on the surface known as manuscript. Manuscript means handwritten. So manuscript is a document that is written with hand by using ink and pen. Inscription is something that has been cut into a surface. So surface could be stones, we say stone inscription, or the rock inscriptions. Surface could be a wooden piece, so we say wooden inscription. Surface could be a copper plate, so we say copper plate inscription. Surface could also be a pillar, so we have Ashokan pillar inscriptions. So depending on the surface, inscription could be of any form. Manuscript is something that we write with hand by using ink and pen. So what was the lingua franca of our country in ancient times, or in post-Vedic age, or in Mauryan times, or in post-Mauryan times? The language of common masses that time was Prakrit, and the language Prakrit was written in Brahmi script. Devanagari was there, but it was not very popular. Sanskrit was there, but Sanskrit was the language of elite class or the upper classes in ancient age. Sanskrit was never the language of common masses. It was the language of Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and to some extent Vaishyas. A study of geometry and mathematics, this concept will also be coming across to you when you read NCERT in early chapters. So ancient Indians took interest in the knowledge of or in the learning of mathematics. They knew mathematics. Look at this particular seal. This is known as seal. S-E-A-L. These are seals of Harappan civilization. Seal means today's stamp. So Harappans used to inscribe their names or something, their designation on a piece of stone, and that piece of stone was used to put a stamp on their belongings. So this is known as seal. So Harappan seal was cut into. This is in the form of inscription. So here, these seals, you can see what is the shape of this seal, a rectangular. If you look at the angle here, 90 degree. If you look at the edges here, these are parallel lines. It simply means that people of Harappan civilization were aware of geometrical shapes. They knew parallel lines, they knew angles, they knew squares, they knew rectangles. So knowledge of mathematics was there in India during ancient times, in the age of Harappan civilization also. This knowledge is not in written form today because we have not discovered any book belonging to Harappan people. Harappan script found on seals has not been deciphered so far. In Vedic times also people knew mathematics, particularly geometry. Geometry is a branch of mathematics that deals with different shapes, squares, rectangles, triangles, circles, parallelogram, trapezium. So that's the geometry here. So they knew geometry, and this knowledge of geometry is found in books like Yajurveda. There were 4 Vedas, and Yajurveda is one of the 4 Vedas or Veds. So in English, we pronounce them as Veda, but actual term is Ved. So Yajurveda. The first Ved was Rigved, the oldest one. Second was Yajurveda, the second oldest one. Third was Samaved, and the fourth was Atharvaveda or Atharvaveda. So in Yajurveda, we find information about geometry. Some parts of Yajurveda are known as Shatapatha Brahmana. So Shatapatha Brahmana is a part of Yajurveda. It also contains knowledge of geometry. And Sulvasutra is another book related to Yajurveda. Sulvasutra also contains knowledge of geometry. So ancient Indians knew geometry, they knew mathematics. In later classes, when you move to the higher level from foundation, then I'll explain you other mathematical, other scientific concepts known to ancient Indians. Language of religious text. The literature of ancient times can be broadly divided into 2 parts. Religious literature, or the literature that has religious content, and secular literature, the literature that has contents related to economy, content related to society, political system, but does not deal with religion. So life can be broadly divided into 2 parts, secular and religious. Secular means something that is not related to religion in any way. And religious, understand that is dealing with different religious activities. So religious texts, we can see Vedas, we can see Buddhist literature, and we can see Jaina literature. So Vedas were composed initially. Again, you have to understand what's the meaning of composed. Vedas were composed in Sanskrit language, or Vedas are in Sanskrit language. Compose means, suppose if you are thinking of something, an idea comes, okay, you say earth is round, and you are now spreading this knowledge orally. So you have composed a scientific concept or a poem, Bharat Bhagya Vidhata. So that is composition, original creation. You may write it down on some material, or you may remember it orally. So Vedas were composed orally, they are passed on orally for generation to generation for more than 900 years, and much later they got to know a script to write them down. So Vedas were in Sanskrit language, Buddhist language or Buddhist literature was in Pali language. Very important for exam, you have to remember. And Jaina literature was in Prakrit language. Prakrit. So Pali, Prakrit, Sanskrit. Mahatma Buddha, Mahavir Swami, the founder of Jainism, and Mahatma Buddha, original name Siddhartha, was the founder of Buddhism. Language of secular literature. Secular literature in ancient times was mostly in Prakrit initially, and Sanskrit later on. So Prakrit and Sanskrit languages were used to write books on administration, such as Arthashastra, such as the books of Kalidas or other ancient writers. Tamil Sangams. Tamil is the name of a language, and the people, those who use this language, are known as Tamilians. And the state of Tamil people is Tamil Nadu today, one of the provinces or states in India. Sangam, literal meaning assembly or gathering. So who assembled, who gathered? Somebody who was related to Tamil language. And who were these people? They were poets. So Tamil Sangams were the assemblies of poets or Tamil poets. In these Sangams, in these assemblies, Tamil literature was composed. Not written down. Again, you have to see things very carefully. When you prepare for civil services, you have to use each and every word very carefully. You have to be well measured. A bureaucrat cannot be casual. You have to see what you mean, and you have to mean what you say clearly, precisely. So Tamil literature was composed. There was no script with Tamil people at that time. What was the time period of this Sangam? Somewhere around 300 BC to 300 AD. So BC is something before Christ. I hope you know what is BC, what is AD. If I start counting the dates, put on x-axis, and one particular line is put at 0, you would have read number line in your 9th, 10th classes. So this side is minus, negative. This side is positive. So start counting from here. Let's say we reach 100. We reach 200. And keep counting, we reach today 2000. 20, 21, 22, 23, whatever. So you can count up to any time here, you can reach even 3,000, 4,000. This side, again you can put 100, again you can put 200, again you can put 5,000, 10,000 anytime. So this incident is the day of birth of Jesus Christ. Birth of Christ took place on a particular day. That is the year, that's the day of English calendar or the European calendar, or we say Christian calendar. So these are termed as ADs, AD Anno Domini, post some important event. And this important event was the birth of Jesus Christ. And these are termed as BC, before Christ. So if I say 200 BC, or if I say 300 BC, so which one is older, 200 BC or 300 BC? I can connect. 300 BC is older. And from 300 BC I can move up to, let's say, 300 AD. So these, how many years? 600 years. So Tamil Sangams took place somewhere in this period. We do not know the exact year, but we know, okay, this was the approximate time period of these assemblies. These assemblies took place in Tamil Nadu, and here this is Pandya kingdom. Their capital was Madurai. So Tamil Sangams took place in Pandyan capital, Madurai. Madurai was the capital of Pandya kingdom. Very famous city even today, famous for Meenakshi temple. Cholas, Cheras were other kingdoms in that time. So Pandyan capital Madurai was the seat of the Sangams, or the Sangams took place in Pandyan capital Madurai. Sangam literature was composed. What was the language? If somebody asks you what was the language of Sangam literature, Tamil language. How many assemblies were held? How many Sangams were there? There were 3 Sangams. And Sangam literature provides information about South India. The life in South India during 300 BC to 300 AD period. That's why we consider Sangam literature very, very important. Samvats in India. Another concept that you'll read in today's chapters is Samvat. Samvat means, in English language, era. Like Vikrami Samvat. Like Saka Samvat. Like Gupta Samvat or Gupta era. Like Chalukya Samvat. So different kind of Samvats or eras or the time scales were developed by Indians in ancient times. In these Samvats, what happens, the year of the beginning of the counting is taken. Suppose some Samvat is starting from 00 here, Jesus Christ. This is, we say, Christian era, CE, Christian era, also referred as common era, CE. This is the era that is used most commonly today. One of the eras started in 57 BC. And this era that started counting years from 57 BC is known as Vikrami era or Vikrami Samvat. Another era started in 78 AD. That is known as Saka Samvat. The Gupta Samvat started in 319 AD, the year of the beginning of Gupta Empire. Chalcolithic era started in 1076 AD. So let's say if we say year 2000 and this is 2000 AD. So it means we are counting the years in CE, Christian era or Common era. So how many would be the year? What should be the year in Vikrami Samvat? If it is BC, it means this year was before the birth of Christ. If it is 0, so 57 BC would be somewhere here. 78 AD would be somewhere here. And I'm counting here 2000. So if you count the year in Vikrami Samvat, the year will become 2057. Vikrami Samvat, not AD. Vikrami Samvat. If I count the same year in Saka era, so it will be 1922. 1922 because in Saka era the year is counted from 78, so here years are less, and if I count from 57 BC, years are more. Same way you can convert Gupta era into Christian era into Gupta era. So that is what is a Samvat. Vikrami Samvat, Saka Samvat, very important that you should remember. Stone Age in India. There is a chapter in today's class here, Stone Age. Stone Age means the period, the time period or phase of human existence, the time period or phase of human existence during which metal was not known. So first, metal was not known, and secondly, stone was the strongest material. Stone was the strongest material used by mankind. Every age is characterized by its most important feature, the most common feature. So here, stone was the strongest material. Stone tools were used by mankind at a very large scale. For everything, they were using a stone tool or at times wooden tools. Metal was not known. Metal was not used. So this is the first phase of human existence. That's why I say early man, Stone Age was the age of early man. This was the first phase of human existence. So age, earliest phase, when the primates got evolved into human beings. Initially, they were primates. We all used to walk on 4 feet. And then primates started walking on 2 feet. And they became the modern human beings over the period of lakhs of years. So Stone Age was the first phase of human existence. This was the age during which metal was not known and stone was the strongest material. In other words, we can say that stone technology was the most advanced technology during this age or during Stone Age. These kind of tools were used by mankind in Stone Age. These were pieces of stone. They were hit with another piece of stone and see, they were given edges or shapes. How can we differentiate a stone tool from a natural stone? If you see here, there are multiple edges, multiple corners. In a natural stone, you will not have these many multiple edges. The natural stone may have got broken into 2 or 3 pieces, but won't have 3, 4, or 5 faces. So multiple faces reveal that these are the tools used by early man. They used to hold the tool or stone in hand, and they used to carry out different activities. Suppose removing the skin of animal, crushing food grains, or digging something, So they were holding the tools in hand, and that is why these kind of tools were known as hand tools. This phase of Stone Age, or the life of Stone Age, evolved into three different phases. There was the first or the oldest, and that is known as Paleolithic Age. Paleo means old, lithic means stone, so old Stone Age was the first. This old Stone Age was followed by Mesolithic Age or Middle Stone Age. Meso means middle. And this Mesolithic Age was further followed by New Stone Age or the Neolithic Age. Neo means new. So this is a chronology here, Paleo to Meso to Neo, all the Stone Ages. If I go one step further for your comfort, Neolithic Age was followed by Chalcolithic. Chalcolithic means copper stone. Now around 4,500 years ago, the man became aware of first metal, and this 4,500 you have to see in terms of BC. So in around 4,500 BC, the man became aware of first metal. Then this metal was copper. Copper began to be used along with the stone tool. So copper Stone Age came into existence. That is known as Chalcolithic Age. Chalcolithic Age was followed by Vedic Age. Harappan civilization, Chalcolithic cultures were in Chalcolithic Age, and this age was from 2800 BC to 700 BC. Vedic Age was followed by age of Buddha, Mahavira, then Mauryan times, then Gupta times. That's how different chronologies evolved. So we are talking about phases of Stone Age. Paleolithic, Mesolithic and Neolithic were the three phases of Stone Age. Evidence about these three phases, or there are some areas where we find all these three phases one after other. In Narmada River Valley, Narmada in MP, we find evidence of all the three phases. In Baliyan River Valley, in Shivaliks also. Shivalik means outer Himalayas. So you find all the three phases one after another. What were the characteristic tools of these three different phases? In Paleolithic times, the tools used to be core tools, or tools were based on core technology during Paleolithic Age. Core technology means one big stone was taken that was hit with another stone, outer layers were removed, and the inner part, inner core was used as a tool that was held in hand and that was used as a tool. In Mesolithic Age, tools were microliths. Micro means very small here, lith means stone, so very small size stone tools, MA for Mesolithic Age. And the typical size of these tools was 3 centimeters. So they were known as microliths. In Neolithic Age, the typical characteristic feature was use of celt. Celt means tool with handle. So now they started drilling a hole in a stone and a wooden handle was put in the tool to make it more efficient, to make it more effective. Such tools that have handle are known as celts. These tools were polished, they were grinded, rubbed properly, so they were very refined. During Paleolithic Age, tools were very big, so bulky tools were there. very big tools, here very small tools, and here highly polished, highly refined tools in Neolithic age. Neolithic cultures in different parts of India. Culture means the way of life of Neolithic people. So Neolithic cultures were in Kashmir Valley. In Kashmir Valley, people in Neolithic age used to live in pits. So they used to dig pit in earth, and this pit was covered with a hut, and they used to cut steps to go into the pit. So like basement you can see today. This was a typical feature of life in Kashmir Valley during Neolithic age, pit dwelling. Could you think of the reason why they were living in pits? They were living in pits because outside temperature was very, very cold, or the climate was extremely cold. Now in pits, they used to feel relatively warm. Then you see other parts, let's say northwestern parts of Indian subcontinent, today's Pakistan, Afghanistan. So here also Neolithic people used to live. Neolithic culture was in eastern India also, UP, Bihar, Bengal, and Neolithic culture was in South India also. So during Stone Age also, the man was occupying most of the area in Indian subcontinent. Indian subcontinent means the landmass, the area of today's India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Maldives. So these are the parts of the territories in Indian subcontinent, as we use the term very frequently. Stone Age was followed by Chalcolithic period. Age, I told you precisely, this was 2800 BC to 700 BC. So before 2800 BC, age was Stone Age. All the periods. This is known as Chalcolithic culture because in this age, copper tools were used along with the stone tools. Chalco means copper stone. Chalco, copper, lithic stone. So Chalcolithic means copper stone. So this was the phase of life when man used copper tools along with the stone tools. Harappan civilization or Indus Valley civilization, this will take up in the next class. This will be in the chapters of next class. This is also referred as Indus civilization or Indus Valley civilization. What also in Chalcolithic age? Because the period of this civilization was from 2800 BC to 1750 BC. This was civilization. There were some cultures. Culture means village people in simple language. Civilization means urban people. This was a civilization because Harappans were living in towns and cities. There were so many village communities in this age, and they were representing Chalcolithic cultures. So these kind of copper tools, copper items were used by people during Chalcolithic times. Copper hoard culture. This typical culture was characterized by a large scale use of copper tools. So here use of stone tools was negligible. So by this time, copper hoard culture came up in something around 2000 BC. In some areas of India, the use of stone tools had largely been abandoned. So they used copper tools. Gungiria in MP is one of the very prominent places where we have discovered evidence of this culture, large scale copper items. Important place you should remember. And the last point in today's class, last concept here is ochre colored pottery culture. Ochre means brownish red. This is a brownish red color. Look at the color here. This is brownish red ochre color. This culture or this phase of life or these people were characterized by use of ochre colored pottery. In short form we write OCP, ochre colored pottery. They lived in parts of North India during 2000 BC to 1500 BC. You don't have to worry about the dates. Just try to note down the basic issues. Slowly, slowly, you will connect the dots and you will start remembering everything. So this was today's class. You should note down main points from the class every day. Read these chapters of NCERT before the class once and once after the class. Note down the main point from NCERT also. So combine the points from the class and the points you have noted down from NCERT. That will start building your foundations for your civil service examination. So this was class 1. Revise. If you have any difficulty, feel free to contact me through teacher support, and me and my team here are always going to help you. So revise, learn and move ahead. All the best. God bless you.